Have you ever really thought about how a simple chat about hobbies can, totally change the vibe with someone? It feels like small talk, but it's so much more. It's actually the secret language of human connection. Let's break down how it really works.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to follow a single conversation to see this whole thing in action. We'll kick things off with the one question that gets it all started. Then we'll dive into their different tastes in music and movies. After that, we'll figure out the real reason we even have hobbies. And finally, see how it all sets the stage for what comes next. You know, every great connection has to start somewhere. And when it comes to really getting to know someone, it almost always kicks off with one super simple but really powerful question.
This is it. This is the magic key. It's not just a question, right? It's an open invitation. It's saying, hey, tell me a little piece of who you are. Show me what you're passionate about when you're not on the clock. It's the hook that gets the whole thing going.
So, once that door is open, where does the conversation usually go? Well, a lot of the time, it lands on something we all get: music. So let's see how two people manage to connect over it, even when their tastes are from completely different planets. Okay, so one person starts off and they're super clear about their passion. But notice there are two parts here. It's not just about listening to music, it's about the physical act of collecting CDs. That tells you a lot, right? They don't just love the art, they love the actual object. And boom, right away, we hit a fork in the road. One person is all about the 80s. We're talking Madonna, Cher, total classics. The other is firmly planted in today's music scene. Now, you might think this is a dead end, a point where they just go, oh, okay, and move on. But it's not.
And the differences go even deeper. It's not just what they listen to, it's how. One person is all digital, using apps, watching concerts online. The other is more hands-on, collecting physical albums, making playlists for different moods. Again, totally different ways of doing things.
And here is the secret sauce. The different tastes don't actually matter. What matters is that the passion for music itself is the bridge between them. It works because just having that shared category of interest is enough to build a connection. It gives them common ground to stand on while they explore their differences, which is pretty cool.
So, where do they go from here? Well, after they've established that shared love for music, the conversation naturally shifts to other kinds of entertainment.
It turns out one of them is a big reader with really specific tastes. They are into mysteries and adventure stories, and they know exactly what they don't like. This is them sharing another little piece of their personality. And there it is, the pivot. The other person chimes in, yeah, I've read a little, but I'm really more of a movie person. This is such a critical moment in any conversation, right? What do you do when your interests don't line up perfectly? This is just a totally natural part of getting to know someone. They started on the super common ground of music, and now they're kind of mapping out the edges of their shared interests. This isn't a failure to connect at all. It's actually a deeper kind of understanding. Okay, so they've talked about what they do for fun. Now the conversation takes a subtle turn, and they start getting into the why. This is where we really get to the core of what hobbies are all about. So, after that little detour into books versus movies, they find another spot where their interests just click. Both of them enjoy the simple act of going for a walk. No marathons, no extreme sports, just relaxing outside. This brings the conversation right back to a simple, shared feeling. And through that shared feeling, they kind of accidentally stumble upon this absolutely perfect, universal definition of a hobby. It's not about being productive or competitive. The whole point is to find something that helps you feel calm, happy, and relaxed. That's the why they were looking for. And then the final piece of the puzzle just clicks right into place. Hobbies aren't just something we do alone to de-stress. They are meant to be social. As this person says, these passions are meant to be shared with people. So here's the basic formula for how it works. You find a shared passion, you do it together, whether that's listening to music or just talking about a book, and that shared experience is what strengthens the bond between you. A personal interest becomes the tool you use to build a friendship. So what's the end game here? Where does all this talk lead? Well, a really good conversation about hobbies doesn't just stop at nice to know. It actually opens a door to the future. Now that they've built this foundation of trust and understanding, they feel comfortable sharing their dreams. These aren't just things they do, they're things they hope to do. It's a little bit of vulnerability, and it shows they're both open to growing. And there it is. That's the magic line. The entire conversation, from that first simple question all the way to defining what a hobby even is, it was all leading to this moment, an invitation to share an experience in the future.
So, here's the big takeaway. The goal of talking about hobbies isn't just to list off your activities. It's to build a connection that's strong enough to turn a chat about the present into a real plan for the future. It moves from what do you do to what can we do together? And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. It's easy to talk about the things we already do, the things we're comfortable with, but maybe the real magic happens when we're brave enough to say, hey, let's go try something new together. So, what new hobby could be your next shared adventure?